Hey everybody, it's Seth Keep It Real. Saad Basim with me here. Alan will be here soon with a special guest. She's having a little bit of technical issues getting in, so thank you everyone for your patience, but we're still going to get started. So hello everybody, good to see you guys. How is everybody doing today? I see we have some people here, and someone says best wishes from Germany. Awesome. Seth got a crown. I got a crown. All right, well, good to see you guys. How are you doing today, Saad? How are things going on your end?
Doing very well, man. Thank you so much. I'm actually preparing to come back to Canada next week. Actually, it's earlier than I thought, but I'm excited about that. Maybe it's a sign from God for me to go and prepare for Q4 a little bit more. So yeah, it's it's awesome. It was very awesome.
You guys ready for Q4? Everyone who's here watching right now, are you guys ready? Because Q4 is upon us, and it's going to be huge, and you want to be ready. And there's so much. Alexander from California. Hello, Anita. Good to see you. ACRS. How are you? Croatia. Good to see you, Antonio. Okay, cool. So we're just going to start right now. We're going to jump right in. Now, our special guest today, who will be here soon, she is in the United Kingdom, and she sells in the United Kingdom. And we're going to talk about how she found products. But I'm curious, how many of you guys, a Amazon store in a non-Amazon.com place? I'm just curious. Hello, the Kev from Spain. Good to see you. Already part of Jod. I don't recognize your name, CJCRS. It's like you're under a special code name, but I believe you, so that's very cool. From New Jersey, hello, Patty. Great to see you. Hello, Ich. Body from New Jersey. I'm just curious, how many of you guys actually have a store that is not in Amazon.com? And how is that going? Because there's a huge difference between being on Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, Amazon.ca, soon to be Australia, and so forth. Hello, CN. Hello, Chris. Oh, okay, Chris. Now I recognize you. Good to see you. Hello, Feliz. Great to see you as well. Okay, cool. Saad, if you were to give recommendations to someone who's selling in a non-US store and they're doing Amazon arbitrage, what would be your first recommendation? So they're selling in Canada, selling in the United Kingdom, and they're thinking, you know, Saad, I'm frustrated because I want to sell in .com, but right now I'm selling here. How can I succeed in a different place?
It's very simple. First of all, you need dedication. I think all of us, we need that. Secondly, you need to go ahead and set up your store, whether it's in Amazon.com, which is you can do it very easily. There's a lot of ways you can do it. At the same time, after that, as soon as you do Amazon, I think you need to set up your bank account. There is other ones like Pioneer. It's very good service. And that's it. Then you find product, find them if you want to sell them in .com, find the product in the States, whether it's an online, which is online in that case, take them, send them to Prep Center. From Prep Center, they'll prepare the product and they ship it to Amazon warehouse. So you need also Prep Center for you to really get everything ready. And actually, I see Hazel is with us, so maybe she is the spotlight on her today.
Oh,
absolutely. Hazel.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, cool. Hi, everybody. Big shout out to the UK and Europe representing.
I love it. Hazel's part of our arbitrage group, and she's been very successful, and I'm going to brag on her for a minute here. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to share my screen, see what Hazel has done. Let me know when you guys can see it. Can you guys see that?
I can see it.
So guys, I just want you to see something here. And when she started back in January, she didn't start immediately with a ton of products resourcing. It takes a while to get it going. But that, as you can see, by the time she got to this month and then here, boom, there's this huge spike. Almost 11,000 pounds total revenue this year. That is not bad at all. And Hazel, had you done this before? What was your previous experience on Amazon before you started with the Amazon Arbitrage group?
I had bought a couple of things as presents maybe, but no experience whatsoever selling anything.
That's it? So you bought a few things as presents. You mean as a buyer then? You just bought some stuff?
As a buyer. I never sold anything. I didn't have a seller's account or anything.
Wow. Here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, go back to video. So Hazel, how did you find products in the United Kingdom? We have quite a few people who are in the United Kingdom. They want to learn how to sell on Amazon.co.uk versus someone who lives in the United Kingdom and is selling on .com in the US. How did you find products? What were the steps that you took?
Yeah, I had a bit more trouble than other people because the lead list wasn't any good for me, really. Mainly, I would look in the big stores like Smith's, Argos, John Lewis, supermarkets like Tesco and Asda, and just look for sales. Or I went around for hours scanning, but I kept being restricted, so it was really frustrating when I started. But my tactic was then to start getting them gated in categories, because that made it a lot easier to find products when I was out in the stores. And now I do kind of a lot of looking online and order things. Some stores don't like resellers and they ban you in the UK, so you have to be careful. So I will look for stuff online, and then I usually do, or quite often I do, pay for it and collect it, because they don't seem to mind that. They mind when you're using their delivery services, I think it's the issue. And at the minute, I'm just dabbling with a sourcing software that I'm trialing, and also I've got kind of sharing a VA, a visual assistant for those who don't know. Right. And I'm kind of, this is only about my second week on that one, so I'm getting leads from there. And I know you can buy lead lists over here, but at the moment I'm kind of wanting to do it myself rather than do that. And also cut and paste is a good thing. And there's actually in Chrome, there's an app where you can right click and it takes you to the product in Amazon, so you don't have to cut and paste all the time. It's a lot quicker. I can't remember the name of it now, but I can post it later on if you want. It's really handy.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank you. No, that would be awesome. When you are sourcing in the United Kingdom, you mentioned leads lists, and I want to explain what that is so people who don't know what it is understand. So in our program, what happens is Alan and his team of researchers find you leads, and these are already vetted. On an average, they're 40% ROI, return on your investment, a minimum of $7 per lead. They're 1 to 2% top for their category. He will send these out to people who are subscribed to that list, and in the program, you get a whole month for free. Referring to is these are the leads list she's referring to are selling on .com. They're not selling .co.uk. So if you're in the United Kingdom but you're selling on .com, they work for you. But if you're selling in the United Kingdom, that isn't part of those leads lists. Don't apply to that. So Hazel, one of you guys mentioned Saad or Alan, like those guys who get those leads lists are so lucky because they get a jump ahead. They don't have to do as much sourcing. It gives them an advantage. What I love about Hazel's story is without the help of a leads list, she still found a way to do almost 11,000 pounds total revenue since the beginning of the year. And the last few months have been much bigger even than her first. If you were teaching someone brand new, Hazel, what would you tell them about sourcing? Because sometimes that's the hardest part.
It seems a good time over here when it's coming up to the holidays. A lot of the big stores have like vouchers. Like Argos, you can buy, say, £50 worth of something and they give you a £5 voucher. So I was just rolling them on to save money. And some other stores give you vouchers in the store or online. I would say sign up to a lot of stores and get the emails, and then they'll send you deals.
You're referring to the email list when you sign up so that you start getting the deals. So for example, I remember I used to get deals from Sam's Club, and I would use that in order to find products to sell on Amazon. So I'm getting those deals every day or every week as they come in, and I can find which one is a good deal to buy to possibly sell. Is that what you mean?
Well, there's a site called Hot Deals that have deals on that you can use, but quite a lot of them are Prime, and you've got to be wary of buying anything from Amazon and Prime for flipping it. Right. So I make sure I don't do that. I mean, for like actual stores, you can sign up to like Smith's and Argos with your email address, and they'll send you letters of different deals that are coming on, like 3 for 2 and stuff like that. So I sign up to all the big stores if they have such a facility, and then I just check them when they come through. But you can kind of get you kind of get bombarded with emails. I don't know. I've kind of got it. down to different methods, and I don't always do online arbitrage. I do go wander around shops, and you can quite often find better deals in shops because you can see the clearance. I don't know, that's my main kind of way, other than the ones that I'm trying.
That was one of the things I was going to ask you, is how much of the time are you doing it online? So you're on your computer and you're ordering stuff online to send into Amazon versus physically going into the store and finding deals and buying them. So you're saying when you went into the store, you're actually finding better deals, better discounts doing that versus going online?
Yeah, that's mainly at supermarkets over here, like Asda and Tesco, because they turn over things quicker. But now I'm kind of swapping it to doing more online. So because I've got the VA and the software that can tell me where to pinpoint, so then I'll go and look online. And if it's a store that I know doesn't really like resellers, then I'll try and click and collect. So I'm a bit like Alan. Like one day I could spend, because I spread it around different stores, so I don't buy it all from one. And then I maybe spend all day going around, driving around these different stores, picking everything up. But I'm trying to do that less now, and trying to get more things delivered to the house, just to get boxes as well. I keep running out of boxes.
Yeah, and that way you save time, because you can't spend, you know, all your hours driving. You need time to do other things, so that makes total sense.
Yeah.
You mentioned a VA, a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
Can you expound on that a little bit? How do you use your VA? What exactly do they do for you? Because there's people here listening right now, and they're thinking, a VA? Like, what is that? We're not talking about the state of Virginia in the U.S. for those of you guys in the United States. What are we talking about? So could you help us with that?
We're talking about, I mean, in my case, it's somebody who's in the Philippines. So their kind of day is opposite to ours. So they can be sourcing on the sites during the night and then post the links in the morning. But it's a service that I've joined. I haven't actually hired the VA direct. So I'm sharing it with about 10 other people. But because there's so many products, that's not really an issue. And they basically, we're using Google Sheet, and they're just putting the deals on there. But you still got to do due diligence, because you know sometimes they can get things wrong, or you know it's not such a good deal as you think. So you still have to check it out. So that does take a bit of time as well, I find.
When you mentioned due diligence,
yeah.
So let's just say, for example, your VA or you find a discounted item online. Let's just say it's an Allen wrench, okay? And you notice that these are selling for 60% off, and you're thinking, man, I bet I can make money if I sold these on Amazon.
Yeah.
And so the VA finds it, and they find the link in the URL, and they post it into a Google spreadsheet. So you now later can go to the spreadsheet and say, oh my goodness, look at these, they're discounted. So they basically, you're paying them to do a lot of that work for you to save you time. Yeah. So now you have a list of all these leads.
Yeah.
When you do due diligence, take us through the process you go through so that you can have confidence before you buy this, that you know this is something you want to source. What exactly are you looking for when you're doing your due diligence?
Well, they give you the link to the product, where you're buying it from, and they give you the link on Amazon to where they sell it. But sometimes what I do is I do a search for the product anyway, because sometimes they give you a link that's a higher percentage, so you make more money. But there's one at 1% that's selling like 500 a month, and this one's selling like 5 a month. So you have to be careful, because the prices could be really different.
Yeah.
So I check that. I try and check the product. Sometimes you can get the ENA number or some kind of number, so you can put that into Amazon. And like that helped me the other day, because they put a watch on, and it seemed like a really good deal. And it was very, very similar, but it was actually a different model that they'd linked on Amazon. So if I'd actually bought it, I would have made no money, because it was about the same price as buying.
Right.
So that did allow me to spot things like that. So, and you just look at them and make sure they look the same, and try as best you can to get some model number or something to make sure it's absolutely the same product. I think that's
very
all
smart.
You can do.
That's very smart. So basically, if I found this and it's hugely discounted, I'm all excited to buy it because the link on Amazon says it's selling, for $35 a piece, and I can get these for $15 or even $10 a piece. I need to make sure it's exactly the same model. So I can type in the identifier code, the UPC code, whatever code it is, to pull it up, the one that's on here, that's also on Amazon, to make sure it's the same product. And I really am getting the benefit of the differences of the price I'm buying it for versus the price I'm selling it. Am I understanding you correctly, Hazel?
Yeah, and sometimes with the VAs, I found that they don't match because they've maybe misunderstood or thought it was very similar. So that saved me some money hassle.
Yeah. You mentioned something about it selling 500 times a month or a day or something. How do you figure out how fast it's selling? What kind of tools, or are you using BSR to figure that out? Like how because I know, you know, if I'm going to sell this on Amazon, I want to know that it's actually selling quickly. I don't want it to sit there for 8 months and then finally sell. It's not worth the storage fees if it's in their warehouse. So how do you figure that out?
Well, when I'm checking the product on Amazon, I always go and look at the BSR to see where it's ranked, and I'm trying to be, for the UK, be below about 50,000 for most products, depending on the category, but mainly say like in toys, which is mainly where people start because it's the most ungated. Make sure that it's lower down so that it'll sell quicker and you'll probably get a better profit. Sorry, what was your question? Sorry.
No, that's exactly what I was wondering. So I want to expound on this just for a minute for everyone watching. So this is very important. A big part of running a business is you don't want your cash to be frozen. So again, if I take, let's just say I bought, you know, $100 worth of these and I send them into Amazon. Let's say I would make my money back in 8 months. The problem with that is I've frozen those $100 for 8 months. I can't use that money to build my business. And when you freeze money, your business grows more slowly. So you want that cash to be free as much as possible. Well, how do we get it to be free? What Hazel said. If the BSR in the United Kingdom is below, you said 50,000, right, Hazel?
Yeah, because quite a lot of time with America, it's a big difference. You can get like a 1% product that sells 5 a month. Whereas I'm guessing in America, 1% sells thousands a month, maybe, I don't know. So it's kind of a lot different. Absolutely,
yeah. Because I know, and let me ask you this, Alan, if we're selling in the US, because I know you're selling on .com, what, as a general rule, and I know it's going to vary based on the category, what's the minimum BSR you're okay with for selling a product to make sure it's going to give you a quick turnover?
We recommend 1% at the most 2%, but for brand new people, we even recommend to just go, you know, 50 or 25,000 on rank, because we know almost any category, if you find that, it's gonna sell fast. But you know, once you started selling on Amazon, and you're finding products, 1 to 2% of the category of the main category will be fine.
How do they know it's 1 to 2% of the category? I know they know how to look at the BSR and it gives them that number, but where are they seeing that percentage?
The fastest way we're using right now is we're using a few tools that gives us that information very fast. There's ways to do it manually, and you know, you can find it manually. But for us, it's a lot easier, and it's worth to have tools that, you know, as soon as you get to the product page, it's going to tell you this is the rank and this is the percentage on that category. And then we use other tools to kind of estimate how many sales we're having for that rank, and then we make the decision off of that information.
What is the difference in tools you guys are seeing between selling in the UK and selling on .com? How often do they overlap? And this is for any of you guys. How often do they overlap? Which ones are working for both? And perhaps specifically, Hazel, which ones are your favorite that you have found that are helping you to do this 11,000 pounds since the beginning of the year?
Do you want me to go? I'm using the seller app, which I use when I'm out in the stores. It tells me if I'm restricted on things or not. And that's the one that you check all the time to see if you've made a sale when you're first starting. So that one's really good. And the other one that's a godsend, I think, is Keeper. I know some of the ones recommended in the course, you can't actually use them in the UK. So I found Keeper's free, and that's really good for analysing, you know, the history and the BSR and the sales. I also have another tool, the one that I'm trialing, but I don't really want to say what it is at the moment because I want to check it out, but it has a bar and it tells me what percentage the product is, and it gives an estimate of how many it sells a month.
That would be one of my questions, Hazel. If you have anything that it's comparable or similar to RevSeller, which is one of the tools that we use in the US.
It's a bit like that, but then I have another bar that I can work out the FBA fees and things, and then it will tell me, so you can add on like VAT or whatever, and then it will tell me how much potential profit that I've got to make, so I can, the ROI. So I've got a good idea of what I'm going to make on that product. And And I use kind of that and the BSR and all that together to decide whether I'm going to buy a product or not.
Yeah, so that's really helpful. What I love about Hazel's story, you guys, is she's selling in the UK, and as you can see, she doesn't have access to the same number of tools as if you're selling in .com, as you just saw. She's also not receiving leads lists from the Just One Dime team as people in the .com. They get a whole month of those for free. And again, these leads lists help you. They basically do what her virtual assistant program is doing, is they find leads for you. They're very vetted. So Hazel said, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to go pay a team or pay a company to do this for me, to help me. And instead of saying, oh man, it's difficult, I can't do it, she's making it happen. As you guys could see from the screenshot that was taken just this morning, posted it, boom, there it is. It's straight from her Seller Central. You can see what she's doing. Let me ask you this, Hazel, because profit's super important. Do you know approximately what is your profit margin? Are you making back 30% of that, 50, 70, approximately on average? What are your profit margins on all these?
Roughly, I'm going for about a third. But sometimes, because I look for the ROI when I'm sourcing, you know, some ones I've done really well and I've got 50, 60, 70% back. On occasions, I'll take less than, say, the 30 or 33 if on that product I'm sure that I can sell it, and I would maybe make about £10 on it, so about $14.
Yep.
And I think for me, when I was first getting going, or even now really, that, you know, an extra £10 a month is okay. If I've got the capital there to buy whatever it is,
right,
then sometimes I do that, so I will fall below, but I still make a reasonable amount.
Yeah. Have you found it's become easier as time has gone on than when you started? You know what to do, you know where to source. Like, what has that learning curve been like for you?
It was quite difficult to start with because I knew nothing about any of it really, so it was quite to learn just all the theory kind of stuff. But once I kind of got going, I kind of know where to buy. And then when it got to the summer and all the sales were on, then it kind of got a bit overwhelming because I couldn't look at all the stores. I just didn't have time, you know.
Yeah.
So I just had to, I guess there's a few stores that I like and I'm kind of sticking a bit with them for now. But if the deals change, then, well, like Toys R Us, but if, you know, that goes bankrupt, then that's gone. So we'll just have to see what happens, you know. There should be some good deals if it goes bankrupt for, you know. But again, Toys R Us, for those in the UK, don't really like resellers. If you put big orders in there, they'll cancel them. So you have to be careful with them because they've cancelled one of mine and it wasn't even really big.
Was that an online order or you went in person to the store?
It was an online order and they rang me
Wow.
and asked me if I was a reseller. And I'd only just started, so I was going, I did not say, and I'm kind of an honest person, so I kind of said yes. So they went, right, well, you can't do this, and we're cancelling your order. So I said, you know, so if I completely lied to you, you would just let me do it, would you?
That's annoying, isn't it? Like, because you were honest, they're punishing you for being honest. What's cool about it is you're getting a reputation. Have you heard of that Hazel girl? Oh yeah, reseller.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I can't understand it really because, you know, to me, if Toys R Us are in trouble, you know, resellers would help them because we're buying from them.
Exactly. Like, what they're discounting it. Obviously, they want to sell it. What are they worried about? Right.
Exactly. Because a lot of the things that we buy or I buy, mainly I buy kind of clearance stuff they want to get rid of anyway. Sometimes I'll buy things at full price because they will still sell well. But, you know, I don't really understand their mentality. But that's how it is in the UK, and you need to be careful.
It's kind of like people who do arbitrage between Amazon and eBay. I remember Gary Vee talking about this. I've done it before in the past. I know it's looked down on, but I'll be totally transparent. I've tried everything. Basically, you find a product that is selling for really low here, higher here, and as soon as someone buys it here, you buy it from here and ship it to them. Yeah. And you make money from the difference. Well, some people get upset about that. I'm thinking, well, let me think here for a minute. If you're getting the sale and they're buying at the price you want, what are you complaining about? They're actually helping you. It's not a big deal. I'll give you an example. So we sell a good amount of stuff on Amazon, eBay, and Instagram. And on Instagram, these people are buying large quantities of this particular product. And my wife the other day, she's like, look, Seth, she shows me her phone, like, I think they're running a business, like 47, 50, 80. And I said, yeah, but it's okay. Like if they're reselling it, that's fine. It was kind of bothering her. She's going, yeah, but they're selling it for more. Maybe we should raise the price on it. Look, we're making great profit. Let's just keep going. I'm happy to help them run their business. I mean, in a sense, we're almost acting like a wholesaler who's selling at retail. Maybe they're even, selling it in their store. I'm happy with that. They're making money. We're making money. People are happy. It just keeps the world going around, and the free market is a beautiful thing. Hey, I'm going to take some questions here. And Alan, feel free to jump in. I'm going to scroll up. We have quite a few questions. And guys, thank you so much for these great questions. Okay, so let me start with, I believe the first question is, and Alexander says, finally, I get to see you, Hazel. You are doing amazing in the group. This is what Alexander Hernandez says. And I can testify to that because I know Hazel's both in Arbitrage course and the private label course. Hazel constantly speaks truth in life. She's not one of those people who whines and complains because she ran into a problem. If she runs into a problem, she asks for help, and she finds a way to make it happen. And that's what I absolutely love about her story. She went from zero money from Amazon to almost 11,000 pounds in revenue, at least a third of that profit. That's amazing. Just because she'd applied knowledge, she got busy, she did stuff, and she can keep scaling that. There's no reason it has to stop there. So thank you, Hazel. That's really cool. Liam says, bossing it. You're bossing it. Sam says, Seth, want to say thanks a lot for the videos. You've helped out a lot. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. And thank you, Saad and Alan as well. Okay, Terry says this. Saad, I'll give this one to you first. My account was suspended 10 minutes after I set it up on Amazon, took its 1 cent. You know where they verify the account by taking 1 penny out of your credit card to verify. Terry Girl used Payoneer account, and she's looking for help from the Caribbean. I know there's no possible way of knowing exactly what the reason is, but what are some tips or things you'd recommend for someone who sets up an account and it gets suspended, why it might be suspended? What are your thoughts on that, Saad?
Yes, usually that happens because people are from outside. They just need verification. So if they send them, I think she was mentioning that she needs to send them some her credit card validations, her IDs or something like that, just validation to say, oh, this is the right person. And I've been telling that a lot and suggesting this to a lot of our members. Once you get the account, make sure that you have a professional account. I know it's maybe upfront cost, but it's going to save you a lot in the long term, because I've seen people who are actually start with individual, and then when they switch to a professional, when they ship their stuff, they already get that suspension. Just you need to call Seller Central. Make sure you send them all the information. It might take a long time. Sometimes it'll take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It all depends on the agent that you get, but you will get a result. If you're really if everything matches up with your credit card and your information on your lease or whatever it is, you should be fine.
Yeah. I think what happens too is we're so used to signing up for applications on our phones, and it's really easy. And smart developers make it easy and simple that we transfer that thinking over to signing up for an account in Amazon. And that's natural. That's a natural mistake. Amazon is setting you up to run a business. So they're super, super picky about that first information, and they're trying the best they can to weed out the hackers and the scammers. If one piece of information is wrong when you put it in, that can keep, like, for example, the zip code to your credit card. You put the wrong number in, they're not going to let you through. So you have to make sure everything matches up. So your bank account, if you put that in, your credit card, your name on that, your address, the address for your Seller Central account, it all needs to match. Tell you guys a quick story. This guy, he lived in Los Angeles. He wanted to set up an account, but he's from Italy. To open up his account in Amazon.com, which he did. Then he went over to Italy and logged into Seller Central from there. Well, guess what happened? They suspended his account. He asked why. Well, it was because they thought some kind of hacking was going on. Someone had logged into his account from another country. And because he had just set it up, they were very concerned. And so it took them the longest time to clear it up. So guys, when you start, be at one computer, be on the same IP address, in other words, your internet. Make sure all your information lines up perfectly. If you sign up for a professional account, it'll more quickly address any issues you might run into, because they require more information for that. You can start as a sole proprietor, use your social security number, but then after that, you're going to need an EIN number if it's a professional seller account and you want to register as a business. So I hope that is helpful, Terry. But as Saad said, go talk to them, ask them for exactly what they need, and go in and fix that. Sam says, can anyone help? when I have a product to sell to a retail store, Alan, which I got from Alibaba, what can I do to stop the retailer from buying the same product from Alibaba and cutting me out?
It's not more. It's not like a regular retail arbitrage. She's trying to buy something from Alibaba and sell it to whom? To a retail store.
That's what it sounds like. He says, when I have a product to sell to a retail store, which I got, okay, so he buys a product from Alibaba, from a supplier in Alibaba, and then he sells it to the retailer, but now he's concerned that retailer, that store, might go to the same supplier in Alibaba and buy it as well.
I think if he already has a lot of orders, the smart move to do for me would be to private label that product, because you can, you don't have to, having your own brand on the product is going to prevent from people kind of finding out where you're getting it from.
Right.
So that would be my advice: just private label that product.
And if you're fulfilling a very specific niche, Sam, like very specific, you're not just selling a plain old coffee mug, but it has a unique handle and it has a really cool logo on the bottom or something like that, and it's unique and you've done hard work. You're not just buying it and selling it. If you're just buying it and selling it, you can't protect yourself. If you just find Alibaba, I like it, I want to buy this, anyone else can buy it and they have full rights too. You have to work harder and actually customize it to some level so that it's viable to the retail store uniquely from you, and you're the only person they're going to get it from. That helps. And as Anita said in the chat, anything short of a patent, it's really hard to take out the competition. The only other option would be a trademark, but then that's different because the trademark's just a mark over your store. They could do it underneath a different trademark. Terry Girl says, ask to please. Okay, yeah, we already talked about that. Okay, and yes, that could be the issue, Terry, that your credit card is expiring soon. Sam says, thank you, Anita. Excellent. Hey, Lonnie, good to see you, brother. Dropping in to watch for a few minutes and say hi. Hope you're doing well, man. Doing well, brother. We need to do a show again, man. I want to say Garage Flips. Lonnie is one of the most amazing yard selling arbitrage people on eBay you have ever met. Like, this guy goes out and he finds treasures and he does it full time. He fired Apple and he does it for his family, and it's really cool. So good to see you, brother. Okay, let's see. Okay, Itch says, sorry guys, that's not a question. Terry Gill has a question. Thank you for the help, guys. Okay, cool. All right, so back to you guys. Hazel, imagine I'm a new seller. I'm in the UK. Please teach me how to do online arbitrage in the UK. What's your first recommendation?
You mean after you've got all your accounts set up? Because one of my recommendations would be that if you are going to do it seriously and you want a limited company, which I think is the equivalent of your LLC over there, I would do it from the get-go, because I had to wait weeks to transfer from a personal account to my company account. And also, if you do that, when it comes to ungating, you only have to provide one invoice rather than 3. So that helps with ungating, because they can verify you more to who they know who you are if you've got a company and you're registered. The other things I would say was do the course, maybe, if you've not done it. There's a lot of help there. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I love these guys because I went on some other forums. I asked a question, and I think it was somewhere, what warehouses, wholesale do people use? And basically, I got told that that was a rude question and that nobody would tell me. And I thought, hey, yeah, I'm not into that. So that's why I like this, because you can ask questions and people will do their best to answer you and help you out. Also, first thing, get Seller app on, start understanding and using Keeper. I'll say this tool that I've got for cut and pasting over here. Look out for sales. There'll be someone's coming up for Christmas. Like if you're doing Q4, probably though, if you've not started now, you probably can't get in, I guess. You
mentioned the Seller app. So guys, what she's referring to is it's Amazon's own app, their Seller app, where you can download into your phone. You can literally scan items and see whether or not you're gated out of that brand or you're restricted from that category. So it's super convenient and it's free. The same thing with Keepa, Keepa. That's another app you can use as well. Just scan Genie. Does that work for you in the UK? Have you tried it before?
I haven't tried it. I think when I looked into a few of the ones that were mentioned, they didn't work in the UK. I'm not totally sure on that one, but I know some of the other ones didn't work. But I've actually found that I haven't really needed them. Because sometimes you can have too many apps to look at. Keeper give you good information. You can use Camel here, but I don't find that gives me much more than Keeper. So I've stuck to Keeper and the app. You know, like I said, sign up for the emails. There are various tools you can use over here. The ones that I'm kind of looking into. You can get a VA if you've, you know, got that disposable income. If you want to save time, you can use prep centers over here. I haven't got to that yet because I'm still doing it myself to save a bit of money so that I have more money to go into Q4, which is, for those who don't know, the Christmas period.
Right.
So I'm trying to get as much money as I can to buy products to sell during that time.
Right. Okay.
They're my main things. I mean, the course gave me a foundation from knowing nothing. So I guess people who are already selling, you know, they might be able to source some stuff, but it just makes it quicker to do it. And I was like in the first class, so I know some of the things have been updated. So I think it'll probably be even quicker now for people to get up and running. But you know, it's not easy. I put a lot of time and effort into this.
You're building a business. You're building a business, right? You're not just selling stuff on Amazon. That mindset right there is so helpful. I'm actually building a business, and it's going to take time and money, sweat, blood, and tears, so it someday can serve me. Just like if I go plant an orchard, it's not going to happen in a day. It's going to take a lot of investment. But then 10 years down the road, probably in a lot sooner on Amazon than that, now I have an orchard of fruit that I can go and eat from, and there's less work required to maintain it.
Yeah, I'm finding that now because I've got something like, I spread wide, I don't go deep as recommended. You know, I've gone through nearly 300 products now.
Yeah.
During the 3.5 months that I've been trading now.
Yeah.
And some of them, you can find them where you can go and replenish them. But some of them, because they're on sale, you can't. So you have to kind of move on and find something else.
Right.
I guess another tip is that if you get a lead or something and you go to a website, have a look round on that website or have another look for that model or a different color of that model or whatever it is. Because quite often when I've gone to a site, I thought, oh yeah, actually that's all right. And I check it out. Sometimes, you know, it's not good for selling on, but sometimes you can get other deals from that site. And that's another good source.
How often do you go back and buy the same products that you sourced last month or check on them? Does it usually change, or do you find some are repeat, you can keep going back and buying them again?
I found some I can repeat for a few weeks, but then they'll sell out. And then I'll find something. I mean, one of my aims at the moment is to try and use wholesalers. But over in the UK at the minute, it's proving really difficult to find something that you can resell because a lot of the wholesalers are actually selling on Amazon as well. Right. So they can undercut your price. So I'm trying to, my strategy now is I've kind of got this down, I think. So I understand how to do it. But I want to get some more stable things in. And also, I don't always just go for 1% and 2%. Sometimes I will go for ones that are a little longer, that I'll wait a little longer to get a better profit on. So it's not, and when I first started, then I wanted to be the lowest on everything. And then you get to,
so you can get your money quickly. Right.
Yeah. But now I will wait for some good deals that I know are going to come through because over here now, I guess there's a lot of people doing it and a lot of the listings can be quite busy, especially when everybody's using the same VAs and the same sort of sourcing software. So I do wait a little bit for certain products that I know are going to sell really well.
When you say wait, you're referring waiting to sourcing them or buying them and waiting for them to sell?
Buying them and putting them on the price that I want, not necessarily going for the lowest price and waiting to get up to the listing till mine comes on.
Right. Because after the top ones sell off, the lower cost, yours pops up to the top and then someone buys it. Yeah. So guys, this is a super smart strategy. What she's doing is differentiating with arbitrage. And remember how she mentioned at the beginning, she said she wanted to find stuff that was in the 1 to 2 top percent. And what that means, it's selling that quickly. So how is something determined what percentage it is? So again, to use this as an example, if it's in the 1 to 2 top percent, that means its BSR is telling me it's selling very, very fast. So of all the products in that category, this is in the 1 to 2 top percent for how fast it is selling. Why do I want that? Because if I spend money on this and I send it to Amazon, I want to get my money back. Well, at the beginning, especially if you have no money, what you need is that money back as soon as you can. So you want the BSR to be as low as possible. And Hazel recommends 50,000 or below in the UK. Okay, 25,000 below, that's even better, especially the UK. Because in the US, you could even go like 75,000 and still be safe because things just sell faster as a general rule in the US. But going back to the United Kingdom, you want that product to give you money back quickly. Once you start generating cash, but now I found a different product, and this one is maybe in the top 3%. So it might take me longer to get my money back. So I'm going to send it in. I know I want to sell it for $20. I know other people are selling it for 17 or 15, but I'm going to wait because they're going to sell out. And as soon as they sell out, guess what happens? Mine jumps to the top. Then I'll make my money back. So what she's done is she's taken some products and put it here, make the money back quickly. Mm-hmm. Other products, it'll take longer to put it here. It might take longer to get the money back. But here's the beauty of it. And Alan and Saad can attest to this. After you've been doing this for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months, now you have all of these products in your store. And some are quickly turning around, and some could even take up to 6 months. Ultimately making money so that there's a constant cash flow. And the more cash you have, your business. And so you might one day go, oh my goodness, we just got $20,000 in sales today. Well, that was from work I did 6 months ago. And I wasn't even thinking about it. And now, boom, here I'm finally getting the results of that labor. Did I explain that clear to you guys?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I really love that about Hazel, because she's not like the other new guys who gets into the business. That's what happens. If people, when they're not coached correctly or they're not doing it with other people's experiences, they're going to do mistakes because the only focus is going to be about how many sales I did today. Okay, you made 10, but how much you made off it? I made $10. It doesn't make sense. What she's doing is correctly 100% correct, because she's worried about the profit margins. She doesn't want to go below the 33%. She wants to make sure that all the work that she did, she's actually paying off. And that's, I really congratulate you for that. She's willing to wait a little bit, 3 months or 4 months for to see that a specific net profit that she needs on that specific product. And I also like what she did, because she's growing, and I like the fact that she's going with a bigger BSR. She's actually very nice that she started just like me. That's why I'm very happy. When I started, I didn't care about no tools out there. I just went right away with everything that was free. The Amazon seller app is free, and you can do it right away. You can find very good products, and at the same time, she went and she just hustled. She went from one store to another, which is the best strategy. If actually another tip I want to give her, if she wants to do online arbitrage and she sees, for example, Toys R Us just canceled her order, what I do, I found this trick that I go to the store itself and try to buy it. And I don't go during the 9 to 5 hours, because usually are more senior people. I go in after 5 o'clock, which is usually going to get a kid who's working there that he doesn't care. He just wants or weekends. Just take it.
You're not paying me much. I don't care. Have a great day. Here's a couple more.
He's in his phone already. Oh, what's on Facebook today? So do that trick. And sometimes when I buy a lot, I see a lot of questions pops that, hey, why are you doing this? I was like, oh, you know what? Because I have a promotional company. I actually, some people, there's a company that they need some help. They're doing some event and they want some products to give away to their clients or to their workers. So I go ahead and give them that tip. It's like, oh, okay, that's good. Or for a good cause. And they just give you the products. So there's ways around it.
Yeah. I do that. Sometimes I go to shop on the weekends when I know the casual people are in.
Very smart.
So then I go and buy things. Yeah.
I love that strategy. Did you guys hear that? If they cancel your order, go back in, but do it during non-business hours. You're more likely to be able to get it. All right, let's take some questions. Peter says this, Hazel, did you have an established Amazon seller account when you started doing FBA?
No, I didn't have an account at all, other than just a regular buyer.
I'm guessing she hated us for about the first 2 months of her business on Amazon. Because the first 2 months you're gonna scan and scan and scan, and most of the stuff is gonna be gated. But we encourage everybody to keep going and try to go for the categories that are less that you can find a lot of products that you can sell. But a lot of people, they get frustrated because they go to the store and they, after a few hours of scanning, they won't find anything. So that's what that's what I'm saying. Sometimes they just hate us. Well, you tell me to go scan. I can't find anything.
Yeah, I did that.
Aria says, do you have tips for reselling? So Aria, this entire show is about that, the entire thing. But any specific tips you want to add to that, Hazel, for Aria?
Here in the UK, one of my big tips would be to try and get ungated. And you can go straight away into apparel, which I think you can do in the US. You don't really need to have sold anything, really. And a lot of the things that I've found, and I don't know whether it's just because I've got a limited company, is that you don't need to have many sales to get ungated. Yeah. And the word here is that try and get ungated as soon as you can, because it's maybe going to become harder as more and more people join in. And as soon as you can get ungated in things, when you're around the stores, you get more things that you can actually buy. And it's not quite as disheartening. Yeah. I remember getting really frustrated going around, I can't have that, I can't have that. And I found some really good deals, but I couldn't sell them.
Yeah. And when you started getting ungated, you're referring to ungated for categories, or are you referring to ungated for brands, or both?
I'm only getting categories, really, because of brands over here, I don't know the same with there, you need to have a letter from Adidas or whoever. Mm-hmm. And yeah. I don't know what the chances are of getting that. I think from what I've heard, like next to none. Okay. So I don't know whether when I become more established, maybe that they will waive that or not. But right. At the minute, you have to request them, but you have to produce documents and you have to have a letter from them. So right. I don't think, for certainly beginners and even me now, it's not really a way to try and get ungated in the main categories, and then you'll right. get loads more products that you can sell.
Yeah. Alexander says, hey team, how do you typically price your products if all of your competitors' listings are fulfilled by merchant only? Premium, since you have Prime shipping? What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Actually, we really recommend that. Actually, this is a huge advantage, and I think it's very good. When you have a lot of sellers doing FBM, if selling at, for example, that's $20, actually, when you do FBA, you can put at 25 or $30 because you're the only one who's going to be able to get benefit of that Prime shipping feature. At the same time, when we find products, we always compare ourselves with the same people that we're selling against. So for example, if I have FBM, I'm going to compare with the FBM if I'm doing FBM. FBA, I'm going to compare my price according to the FBA. Right. Since you don't have any FBA sellers, I think you can higher your price, or you can go through the keep a chart and be able to find what the what's the FBA price. But usually it's $5-10 extra.
And there's more trust. If it's FBA, there's more trust. People are likely to buy it. I will spend more just because something is fulfilled by Amazon than FBM, just because I trust it more, and I'm going to get within 2 days, sometimes 1 day. It's worth it. So very, very good, man. Thank you. CN says,
can I make a comment?
Go ahead. Absolutely.
So in the UK, how I found you can tell is that if you go a certain amount above the other sellers, if you get the buy box, then you're okay. But I wouldn't go above the buy box. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I mean? You can only go a certain percentage above the lowest person.
Right, in order to keep the buy box, absolutely.
Right.
Or to get it if you're just on the listing, yeah.
I use a repricer, and most of the time I find out that if I can go even 5% above the FBM, and I still get the buy box, but it's going to be between 2 and 5% that you can usually go a little bit higher, as long as you get the buy box, like Hazel said. Between 2 and 5%, you're always going to be able to get the buy box if you're competing with just FBM sellers.
Right. This is actually, you're right, guys. But also you have to put in mind, for people who are selling in Canada and UK, their prices are way higher. So a lot of people are actually used to pay the 100 or 120, and they still get the buy box because they're early sellers on that platform. But you guys, for example, in the States, you have a lot of competition. So the prices are way lower than us in Canada, for example, or the UK. So the 5% rule doesn't apply as much as the other platforms than the US. Because I have seen it, I experienced myself. For example, I was selling this Tassimo coffee maker, and actually I bought it for $59, and I was able to sell it for $200, and I still got the buy box, even that there's people before me, they were selling for 250 and 300 bucks. So that's the average, because algorithm take the average of the current prices within the FBA and how many sellers are actually selling it at that time. So you see,
Right.
so
Yeah.
this is the.
I'm not sure that's how it works in the UK. In the UK, they take the buy box away, and then there's no buy box if you sell higher than Amazon thinks reasonable. I don't know if that's the same in the US.
Well, it does happen. It does happen in the US. You can even lose the buy box in your own listing here in the US as well, which is pretty crazy, where you could have your own FBA and FBM version of it, but neither has the buy box. So there's no add to cart button. You have to see buying options on the right. You click it and then it shows you the options. Is that what you're referring to, Hazel?
Yeah. So if you go too high a percentage here, I mean, I'm sure they are looking at the percentages and other things, I guess. If you go too high, then they'll take the buy box away from everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me show you guys something really quick. I'm going to share my screen, everyone. Give me just 1 second. Because I know some people are going, what in the world are you talking about with all this buy box stuff? Let me know once you guys can see it. Can you guys see it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So right here, you guys, if you notice, it says add to cart. This is the buy box. So automatically, if I just hit that button, whoever is selling this product is automatically going to get the sale. And in this case, it is sold by Tarvel. So now if I go down here, you can see it says new 2 from $6.99. So if I click on that, now I can see the different options. So Memory for You is selling it as well as Tarvel, and they're selling it for the same price. Tarvel has the buy box, however, so that person's going to get over 90% of all the sales for the simple fact that they have the buy box. And that's what we're referring to by buy box, everyone. To jump back over to the questions, everybody. Let's see. We'll just take a couple more, then we're going to wrap it up. Saad says, Yehuda Neyman from Walmart or other companies in Canada and then ship it to a USA warehouse. Do you first get the item repacked and then send it to Amazon?
Actually, I never recommend that buying from Canada and send it to the US unless you're really very, very high seller. I don't recommend it. I usually do it within Canada. So if I buy something within Canada, I sell it in Canada itself in the same platform. In the US, the same thing. From the US, I sell within the US. Just by shipping the products from Canada to the US warehouse, it's going to cost a lot of money. And it's going to take a lot of your profit. So I don't recommend it.
Yep, I ship products from the US to Canada, but only the ones that have very high profit margins. And they sell in Canada. They don't sell as fast as in the US, but it's very expensive. You don't get the discounted. But if I ship it from the US to an Amazon warehouse in the US, it's almost like nothing. It ends up being like a few cents per piece if I'm sending one of those large boxes that is over 50 pounds where you have to write team lift and the arrow pointing up before you lift it. Yeah, absolutely. Is any thoughts on having 2 brands under the same Amazon account? So Dharma, this question would be directly relevant to private label. Yes, absolutely. We have multiple brands. And when you get brand registered, you can actually, each individual brand, as long as it has a trademark, and each of those brands can be included for multiple categories. So you could have one brand that's registered, and that can include both clothing and fashion and health and beauty. And then you could have another brand that's registered, and it could be over sports and outdoors, fitness type stuff, or even, what are they called? Nutrition, health, supplements as well, and those kinds of things. So you can, yes, absolutely, you can do that. What we're referring to here is buying brands that are already existing and selling them on listings that already exist. So you don't have to go in, like, you know how on eBay you have to do this. You have to type in everything, put in all, you don't have to do that. You can piggyback off of other listings legitimately. This is not considered hijacking because it's already in Amazon's catalog. It's a well-known brand, and you're simply making sure your price is competitive, and then it sells. So there's a lot less upfront work in arbitrage in order to generate cash more quickly. And then Anita says, I have 2 brands under the same Amazon account. Awesome. Very cool. How much, Hazel, someone's asking, how much did you spend at the first? How much money did you have to spend to get this going? And it's up to you whether or not you want to answer the question. I know it's a little more personal, but totally up to you.
You mean kind of including the training and everything?
I think they're referring to your inventory, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I put a few £1,000 that I had into it out of my savings.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I went up to 3,000 or 4,000, but then I'm I'm not taking money out. I'm just turning it over and turning it over. And now I've got up to nearly £11,000.
Yeah, that's awesome. you're putting it back into the business, so the business will grow, make you money. Awesome.
Yeah, so I want to get the base and then be able to take things later.
Patty Hazel, she says, great job, Hazel. I too want to set goals for myself.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Patty says, wow, it's so good to know this because I never knew that they question you with all that. I bought a lot of items in store other day at Walmart and bought the same kind of clothing. Luckily, they did not ask me. That's funny. No problem, G. Tarish, great to help you. Okay, cool. Really, really good questions, you guys. Yes, you can do, okay, one more question. I'll ask you, Hazel. CJ has questions for you, Hazel. He says, Hazel, do you use cashback when you are sourcing?
Absolutely. But I use the main site, which is Top Cashback here, and I think it's going over to the States now, or it may already be there. There's two here, kind of Quidco and Top Cashback. I prefer Top Cashback, so I signed up for that, and you get little percentages back. I think so far I've earned about maybe £50–60 back on my sales.
Wow.
But it depends what stores you buy from, because some are not covered by it.
Right.
So that's kind of another thing to bear in mind when you're buying products if you want to get cash back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got another comment. Is that most of this that I've done has been done without pay-per-click. I'm just starting to turn that on now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll see what difference that makes in case anyone is interested in pay-per-click.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. And guys, she hasn't used it yet, and she's still generating this income. This is amazing. And there are some people in our chat, Usher, Lonnie, other people who are masters at this. They know how to do this, as well as Odd and Alan. So I just want to tell everyone, you're in an incredible community of people who can help you. I encourage you guys, was that yesterday or the day before, Saad and Alan? My days are so mixed. It was Tuesday, right?
Oh, Tuesday.
Okay. What we did something totally different, and I almost felt bad because we didn't answer questions, but I shouldn't feel bad. We're providing you all this freaking free information. But we did a full-on course on all the basic steps for doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. It is a couple videos back on my channel. Encourage you to watch that as free information. Now, if you do want help and you're saying, Seth, people who could just walk alongside me, show me how to do it. I want to scale as fast as Hazel is. I want to know, how do you get to hundreds of thousands a month doing arbitrage without killing myself? What we do is we give you 540 minutes of step-by-step workshops, as well as weekly live Q&A, as well as 15 different screen sharing tutorials you can use and apply no matter where you live in the world. And then you also become part of a community. Hazel's part of this community. Obviously, Saad and Alan are, where you can ask questions as you go. And we will send you, if you're selling on .com, it's applicable, you get 180 free leads for that first month. And these leads come with a whole 2-hour training video to teach you how to apply it as well. 1% to 2% per category. The idea is we want to help you guys de-risk yourself as much as possible. So that's why we provide training as well. If you want that, that's helpful when you're like, you know what, Seth, sign me up. I want to get on board with this. I want to start making money faster. I want to know how to build an Amazon business and arbitrage. And what a lot of people have done to generate cash, then they take that and use that to build a private label business later on, so their income is passive. So if that's something we can help you do, this is what we do. This is what we're good at. Our dream is to raise up an army of entrepreneurs around the world. And Hazel, you're a living example of that. You have no idea how happy it makes me to see you're taking what you've learned. You've already gone way beyond the investment, that small investment of getting the arbitrage course, self a business. And I love to see that. That's exactly why we do this, is so you guys can succeed. One of our commitments is no BS. We're going to tell you the hard stuff. We're going to tell you the easy stuff. At the end of the day, what we want to see is for you to succeed. And if we can help you do that faster than on your own, then join our course and we'll help you guys out. But either way, we're going to continue to provide these free training because we want to see people succeed. And my dream, you guys, is 10 years down the road. Can you imagine how many hundreds of thousands of people will have been blessed through Just One Dime and the coaches and everyone helping each other out? Like, that's just an amazing picture to think about. Hazel, thank you so much for being a guest here on this show. Is there any last words you want to share with a lot of people here who are trying to figure out how to make this happen? Any words of encouragement or anything at all you want to say?
I just keep going Amazon's a law to itself, certainly here in the UK. Depending on what advisor you get different information. And also, I got suspended very close to starting because somebody reported me for selling counterfeit stuff when I wasn't. And basically, you just need to give Amazon whatever it is they ask for, and you know you'll get all my stuff. It's kind of, you know, just can't keep persevere.
Yeah.
You know, it's like driving. When you first learn to drive in a car, you know, you're trying to look for your mirrors and put your handbrake on, steer, and all the rest of it, and it feels like manic. But now you're probably driving, you don't even kind of realize, you know.
Don't even think about it. I dropped my daughter off at school today. I'm not thinking about, oh, I need to turn here, slow down, or watch out. It's just all automatic. And I'm getting the results I need. I'm getting to the place I need.
Yeah, so it's kind of like doing videos after you've had eye surgery and you've taken drugs.
Someone's been watching the videos. You know, I'll be honest. I was nervous about posting that because I look like such a crazy idiot. I'm just sitting there laughing for no reason. And then after, when I did the video, I don't remember doing it. When we got home, my wife's like, "Hey, Seth, what do you think of making that video?" I'm like, "What video?" Because I went home, I went to sleep for hours, woke back up, and all the kids are laughing. I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" So she showed it to me. I'm like, "Are you serious?" It's like sleepwalking.
Yeah,
that's great.
Cool. And another thing I'd say is, as a new beginner, you kind of want to penny underprice all the time. But if you go into a listing and you want to be the lowest, match that person so you don't start a penny battle. Yeah. You know, because it's not in anybody's interest to keep the price keep going down, down, down. Yeah. So what I didn't realize at the beginning was if you match people, even if you match Amazon, they will quite often share the buy box. So you just take it in turns to sell things.
Yeah. So and if your account is healthy, and if your account is healthy and you're getting good feedback on your account, that also helps that you get that buy box as well.
Yeah.
It's huge. So if you're doing a good job and honoring Amazon and hustling and working your butt off to make it happen, you can succeed at this. I've heard so many times, "Oh, it's too hard. Oh, it's too saturated." Hazel just started, no previous experience. How did she make this work? Like, the proof is there. We're starting. I myself just started up a new store. We're doing this to prove you can do it. You don't have to be a pro at this to make it work. We'll help you get there, but don't wait. Go out and make it happen. Build this dream for your family. Do something with it. If you spend all your time, guys, just getting information, what's happening is it's like feeding someone, but they're not exercising. You need to use the information. You will become wise when you apply the knowledge. But if you just have a bunch of knowledge, your head gets big. Enjoy the fruits of all that knowledge. Go out and do it and be willing to fail along the way, because you will. In fact, I'm convinced I fail at least at one thing every single day. And that's what keeps me humble and helps me to stay teachable. We need that to succeed in life. Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Hazel. Thank you so much for being here. So, and Alan, any last words, brothers, before we go?
Well, I'm just very excited about hearing what Hazel's journey, and that gives me a lot of motivation to keep helping other people. So thank you, Hazel, for being here with us and for sharing your story with us. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly, Hazel. Thank you so much for taking the time to stay with us and share your story. I really was moved, and that's what keeps us really moving forward, and just go ahead and see that's really is possible. You're a great example, and it's really means a lot to us, because we see what we have done with you, and you have done a lot. You have the will, and that's all what needs. The big will. And thank you so much, and keep going. Hopefully we'll do with you something that maybe in a few months we'll see that this 10,000 will be 20 or 30,000, and I'm sure you're on the right track. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope to. Another comment I'd make that by doing this, I think this gives you a good foundation for the private label, because I didn't understand how to package things and how all the systems work. And by doing the arbitrage course, you know how Amazon works, and you know what to do. And I think when I come around to finding time to do the private label things, that it will be a lot easier from that point of view.
Absolutely. Sorry,
okay.
I'm losing you a little bit.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. Thank you, Hazel. All right, Hazel, you have a respect because you do something with the knowledge you have and you make it happen. And that's what we love to see. All right, guys, have an awesome rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.